Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have brought on a special guest. And so recently, a movie that came out that I've been super hyper about is the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt. However, I do not know anything about Formula One. I've never watched a race. Only know the name Michael Schumacher. Is that a Formula One racer?
Yeah.
I didn't even know if he was a Formula One racer. And the closest thing I've ever come to driving a car that fast is maybe go-karting. And so today, we're going to have her explain to us all about the intricacies of Formula One, how it compares to the movie, and probably what they did wrong in the movie, like what would have gotten them kicked out.
Oh, so much.
There were a couple of scenes I was like, there's no way that they can actually do that in the
Nope.
show. So, Lydia, how long have you been watching Formula One?
Like a year and a half, maybe
Year and a
two.
half. Would you say that you get to watch most of the races?
Oh yeah, I watch everyone.
Pole position races. I know that term. I know pole position. I know that term. You watch that race?
So there is a pole position in every race.
Mhm.
It went away.
It's still going.
Okay, wonderful.
If as long as the red thing is beeping, it's good.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so pole position is something in every race. It's just whoever's in front.
Yeah.
Whoever starts first.
And they normally have a race to decide that before the actual race, correct? Or is
Yes,
it a
that's
time trial?
qualifying.
Qualifying. Okay. And do you watch all the qualifying races then?
I don't, but my brothers do.
Your brothers
so,
do. You hear about it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm usually working on Saturdays, so.
Okay. So races. How long would you say that races are?
Races are somewhere between 1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours. How many laps?
Depends on the track.
Depends on the track. Okay. What can you explain to us about? Just give us the rundown of like how Formula One is, what it runs like.
Okay.
The racers involved. I know that there's like there's Michael Schumacher, and then there's the Red Bull guy who looks mad all the time, is what I've ever seen.
Okay, so Michael Schumacher doesn't race anymore. He's retired. But he was a 7-time world champion.
See, I know the goats. I know the goats.
Yeah. And then there are 10 teams of 2 drivers each.
Okay.
The Red Bull driver that I think you're referencing would be Max Verstappen. Yep.
German. Yeah.
Nope.
No.
No, he's Dutch.
Interesting. Okay.
The only German currently racing is Nico Hülkenberg, and he races for Sauber.
No idea what.
He's been racing for forever, and he just got his first podium. It was really exciting. Everybody was really excited.
See, it's these little storylines that.
Yeah, you gotta love to root for the underdog.
Exactly. Okay.
So those are your teams. Next year, they will be adding on an 11th team, which I'm curious to see how that'll go.
Who's this
Cadillac.
one? Cadillac.
Yep.
Interesting.
An American team. Technically, Haas is also American.
And it's the company that sponsored the team is just like the name on the team.
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
But then you have teams like Ferrari, Williams, and McLaren, which are all heritage teams.
And are normally probably considered the best teams out there.
Well, Williams kind of sucks.
Williams sucks.
They're doing their best. But yeah, and then Ferrari's just had some interesting. They've just been around the longest.
They've been
Ferrari,
around the longest. Okay.
Has been there since the conception of Formula One. They were doing the first races in 1950. And
So
they've
they're
been
the
around
grandfather
since.
of the sport.
Yeah, sure. We'll call that.
The old person of the sport.
Yeah.
And so when you're creating your team, is there like a salary cap, such as in football, or no? You can just spend as much money as you can.
Oh, when you're like making the. Okay.
If you're paying your driver,
Yes.
you're making your car.
Yes, there is a salary.
There
cap.
is a cap. Okay.
Yeah.
You cannot go
Sorry.
because hypothetically, like. Some of these companies definitely have to make more than other companies, and so Red Bull could
100%.
sink $1 million more into it.
Yeah.
And make, but there is a cap.
There is a cap. Yeah. So
Okay.
that was introduced only a couple years back, actually. Like I want to say 2017, but don't fact check that because it's probably not right. Sometime in the 2010s.
2010s.
The salary cap was introduced, and I got a little confused when you first brought it up because I thought you were talking like, is there an amount that like a cap amount on how much they can pay a driver? The answer to that is no. But I mean, I guess they could use their entire budget, but you shouldn't.
Yeah. But if, like, hypothetically, if Ferrari wanted to poach the good guy from Red Bull, they could go blow a bunch of money on him.
Yes, 100%. That's what they did with Lewis Hamilton.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's the other name. I do know who Lewis Hamilton is.
Lewis Hamilton is another 7-time world champion.
I know that one, too. just because I think he was in Cars 2, potentially.
He was.
There you go. See, I
yes.
do know some of these things.
Yeah.
So, but is there a budget then on the car? Like, you only can spend so much money to build your car.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about the budgeting, but I know that there is a cap that they can spend. And then also, aerodynamics are super important to the
Yes.
sport, obviously.
Yes.
And depending on how good you do in the season prior, that determines how much time you get to spend in a wind tunnel.
Oh.
So if you did better in the last year, you get less time in the wind tunnel.
So it's less of a money thing and it's more of a wind tunnel thing. Kind of like essentially if you were already doing it bad in the season, you could potentially tank to get more time in a wind tunnel.
So usually you wouldn't tank. You still want to do good because that determines your sponsorships and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, there is a budget cap, and then the wind tunnel is another big part of it.
Would you say the wind tunnel is probably more important than the budget cap?
No.
No, budget cap is still the most important thing.
Yeah, and the budget cap is the same for everyone. There are some teams that don't spend nearly as much because they don't have that money.
Yes.
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, and then it's funny because Williams, McLaren, and Ferrari all actually receive heritage money. They are actually paid to be in the sport.
Really? So
if-
Formula One pays
Yes.
Red Bull, Ferrari.
No,
not Red Bull. I'm sorry, Red Bull. I keep thinking Red Bull because of Max, the Dutch guy. And so some of these teams are paid to go race cars.
Yes. It's
Interesting.
not. It sounds significant when you say it out loud. I think McLaren gets 10 million per year.
It's still a decent amount of money.
Yeah, but in Formula racing, their cars are worth more than 10 million.
That's true. That's true. And so let's talk about the car is probably the car and the driver. It's probably a 50-50 on like who matters more at the end of the day. Would you say?
Yeah.
Or would you say the driver? Which one do you say matters more in a race?
In a race, I think it depends on the race. Because, okay, if it's like if it's a dry race, then it's probably the car.
The car. Okay.
But if it's a wet race, everything goes out the window. Like,
and it's the driver.
Yeah. Like Brazil last year, the race in Brazil, it was really wild because it was a super rainy race. And then Alpine, a team that doesn't do very good, both of them ended up on the podium.
Because they just drove better.
They just drove better. And for some reason, the Alpine car was really good in the wet. It was weird. Everyone was like, why did they make a boat? Did they forget they were...
That's pretty funny. So... how do they then assemble the car? Is it a new car every year? Because you mentioned the wind tunnel, and you only get a certain amount of time in the wind tunnel. So how does that come into effect when building your car for the coming year?
Yeah, so the cars are a little bit different every year. Going into 2026, there's a bunch of regulation changes coming.
Interesting. Okay.
So the cars are actually going to look a lot different next year. And everyone's kind of interested to see how that plays out. And then they're always developing the car. Like, they're allowed to bring new upgrades in mid-season.
Interesting.
And lots of teams will do that. Sometimes they only upgrade one of their cars, so one of their drivers has a better car and the other has a worse car.
As like a testing thing, or as like a, you didn't go well for us, so now we're going to not give you the good things?
Yeah, well, it depends. Sometimes it's like, we'll try this out on Lewis and George. Yeah. George, you won't have it. But sometimes, like, last year, Logan Sargent, who was the only American driver last year, he drove for Williams alongside Alex Albon. He was not given upgrades on his car, and then Alex Albon wrecked his car in qualifying, and then they gave Alex Logan's car, and Logan didn't race.
Interesting. That's kind of funny. That's weird.
And it was also Alex Albon's birthday weekend, so there's a really fun commentary from, I think it was Martin Brundle said it. He was like, happy birthday to Alex Albon. His birthday present, Logan Sargent's car.
Okay, so is there a certain cap on the upgrades you can make on a car then?
So I don't know about necessarily an upgrade cap, but I know that they're only able to use a certain amount of specific parts.
Okay.
Like, you can only replace your gearbox so many times, otherwise it's like, you get a 10-place grid penalty. Whoops.
I see, okay. So, there's a cap on how many times you can replace the part.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how does the wind tunnel come into effect into all of this?
all this?
Into all this, because it seems like the wind tunnel is a big part of it, being that if you finish lower, you get more time in it, and if you finish higher, you get less time. So how does that come into this effect?
So I would say the wind tunnel is super important because aerodynamics is the most important part of racing. So I wouldn't really say it's something that they think about. Like if you're doing poorly, you're always like, oh, wind tunnel. But you still want to do really well.
Do well.
Because you get a bunch of money for winning and you get sponsorships and way more so that you can develop your car in other ways and you just...
Because like say in the NFL, you know, if a team's already doing bad, you're going to have the team tank the rest of the way to go get a higher pick, better placement overall. That doesn't really come into effect.
No, not really.
Okay. So it's not like the NFL draft in that effect.
No.
But the wind tunnel still does matter at the end of the year.
Yeah, like the wind tunnel's important and people talk about it, but it's not like this end all be all thing.
Okay. Interesting. So then what else do you think I've missed from this that you can explain more about Formula One to us?
Well, I'll say there's not any kind of draft.
No draft. Yeah.
We have for some reason it's called silly season. And like Formula One itself calls it silly season.
Weird.
And that is the season it's the season within the season where everyone's moving around because contracts are ending. So people are being picked up, people are being dropped, whatever. So that's kind of how that works. They're just on contract and they move around after that. If their contract ends, they might get it renewed. I can't remember who off the top of my head whose contracts are ending this year. I know that Max Verstappen currently has an exit clause in his contract with Red Bull because they're not actively leading the championship.
So he could potentially leave to go somewhere else.
Yeah, people think he might go to Mercedes. I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know.
And would you say that he is the face of the sport potentially right now? Or would you say that Hamilton still is?
I would say neither.
Neither. Do you think that there is a face of the sport for Formula One, or do you think just the car itself is the face of the sport?
Well, okay. The face of the sport to people who don't watch the sport is probably Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen.
Okay.
But if you're watching the sport right now, it's probably either of the McLaren cars because the McLaren car is currently the best.
It's the best car. What makes the McLaren car stand out from the other cars then?
It's fastest and we have the best driver lineup.
Okay, there you
That's
go.
it. That's it.
What do you say makes what makes it faster?
I don't know.
just being what it is?
Yeah.
All right. So what else have we missed from Formula One? Because after that, we're going to go into the movie itself, which is probably my favorite part.
Well, we'll get into this a lot more when we start talking about the movie, but penalties are a real and large thing in Formula One.
Penalties, okay.
Yes. So there are a couple different kinds of penalties you can get. You can get grid place penalties, which usually take place after qualifying. Like you did something in qualifying and they say, "Oh, no, you can't do that.
So
we're going to move you back on the grid from where you qualified."
Okay. Which is not good. It's obviously
yeah, no, it sucks. And then you also have time penalties. They're usually 5 seconds, but we've seen an increase in 10-second time penalties, which can either be served as stop and go penalties, which happen, you go into the pit, and you have to, nobody can touch the car for 5 to 10 seconds, and then they can do the pit stop and then move. Or they can be served post-race where they just take 10 seconds off your time.
And then that potentially can push you down in the rankings because it's not like once one person finishes, the race stops, everyone goes across the finish line. Yeah. So they can,
And then another thing, just talking about how the race works, there are 3 super common types of tire in Formula One. You have your hards, you have your mediums, and you have your softs. Okay. You also have inters, which are for when it starts to get a little bit rainy. And then you have wets, but they never use them.
They just have them and they don't use them.
Yeah, nobody ever uses wets, which everyone was really mad about this past weekend at the...
Why don't they use wets?
I don't know. They postponed the race and I sat there for an hour watching them talk.
We were actually at a funny story about that. We were at a swim meet and one of my friends was sitting there, was watching. I was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "The race is postponed and they're not doing anything." I was like, "Oh, well, there you go."
Yeah, that doesn't happen a ton, but it happened this past weekend.
And people were not happy about it?
No.
Okay, so softs are for sprinting?
No, okay, so it all is a matter of grip, and so obviously the track is black, and black heats up quickly.
Yes.
So your softs are your grippiest tires, but they degrade the fastest.
Okay.
So
the short distances, essentially.
yeah, they last fewer laps.
Okay.
And then your mediums are kind of like the middle ground, and then your hards have the least grip, but they degrade the slowest.
And those would probably be used for like a cloudy day, hypothetically.
Yeah, that would be a really good day to.
Where they don't heat up as much, where the softs may be used.
Sorry, switch that. Because the softs degrade the fastest, so you want to use them on a cloudier day.
Oh, yeah, and the hots. Yeah, my bad.
Hots.
Flip it up, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, anything else that we have missed from the general picture of Formula One?
Pit stops. You have to pit at least once a race.
Pit at least once.
Yeah, that's it.
And I feel like most teams probably do it at least twice.
Depends on the race. Most races are 2-stop races, but we've seen some really good 1-stop races recently. And then Monaco this year, they actually introduced a 2-stop rule. They had everyone pit twice to try and switch things up a lot because there's not a lot of opportunity for overtaking on the Monaco track.
Yeah, Monaco is quite a small city. I've seen it before.
Monaco's a country.
It's a country, but that is a city.
It's
essentially one city. What do you think? We'll go one more thing. So you said right now, like the face of the league would be McLaren.
And I'm not biased at all.
Not biased at all. Yeah. What do you think the premier race is? Like, if you were to win the one race and that like cements your career. So hypothetically, in disc golf, the premier event is the World's Championships, which is happening right now. It's a 5-day event. You make or break your career at Worlds. What do you think the make or break thing is in F1? Or is it just winning the championship?
It's winning the championship, but also there are so many good drivers that never win a championship. So all of the races are worth the same amount of points, except for sprints. They're shorter races that happen on Saturdays that are worth less points.
Okay.
But I think the make or break for your personal career in F1 depends on just your history.
How many events you win?
Like Leclerc, he always wanted to win Monaco because that's where he's from. Home races are really important in Formula One. And there was always this talk of the quote-unquote Monaco curse because nobody who was from Monaco had ever won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Interesting.
Until this last year.
And where did he do it?
Yes.
There you go. And so that's going to go down as legacy as the first person to. Interesting. So you also mentioned you mentioned that, and there was one other storyline that you mentioned earlier that was this was kind of a thing heading into the season. Is there little stories that go in Formula One that only people in Formula One would know, like the Monaco thing?
Okay. Home races are super important because there's. Okay.
We're getting set. Something's going on here.
So this is actually really interesting to me as someone who wants to go into PR and kind of a journalism area, because Formula One was the catalyst sport to introduce more media into their sports.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive is a Netflix series. It's a docu-series about Formula One.
I think I may have seen some of that. My dad was watching it potentially at one time.
And that was kind of the first of its kind there. And it was all created because Formula One had what we see in a lot of sports now, which is a dominance problem. One team kept winning, and people were getting bored. So they had to find a way to make people care about the midfield. And the way that they figured out how to do that is to make people care about the drivers themselves rather than the teams.
Interesting. Okay.
So even though Alex Albon isn't winning a lot of races, a lot of people want to watch him because they like him as a person, they like his PR stuff and all that.
Interesting. Okay. What was the one dominant team? Was it?
Well, for a while it was Mercedes because Lewis kept winning with Mercedes. It was either Mercedes or Red Bull. It was always Mercedes and Red Bull.
Is the sport, would you say that in this current season, is it more level, or is it still Mercedes or Red Bull?
Well, it's not Mercedes or Red Bull anymore. It's McLaren.
It's McLaren.
And there's definitely, mathematically, Leclerc could still win the Drivers' Championship. But, every podium, it's a lot of orange.
A lot of McLaren. Okay.
Yeah.
With that being said, we are now going to talk about the movie.
Woo.
You watched it?
Yes.
I watched it.
I want to hear your thoughts first.
My thoughts on it?
Yeah.
So, I made a video about this.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should have told you beforehand, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting as someone who had never really watched car racing before. I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked how Brad Pitt, as generally when I'm reviewing the movie, I talk more about the substance of it rather than like how it applied to the sport.
Yeah, I'll go.
So, I liked what Brad Pitt did. I think he did an amazing job. I think the younger driver did an amazing job.
Damson Idris.
Yep, I think he did a great job in his role. The soundtrack is great. I said that even today, people are still playing that.
Yeah, the soundtrack is honestly fire.
And like I still get
I see what
goosebumps about it because like you'll be listening to it and you're like, oh, the race is going. I think they did a good job with all the race scenes. I think it was pretty cool, like the point of view and showing the struggling and how it went. I think some of the tricks that they pulled were pretty cool, though I was questioning their legality sometimes. I think in general it was probably the best movie that they made. Not the best movie probably I would say probably one of the best movies of the summer, and it probably will not get enough credit as it is. That's one of my friends.
Oh, understood.
That is what he was. He was the person that was in here beforehand. Oh,
he's doing the like surfer guy thing. What is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He said he was gonna do this. Okay.
Understood. Okay.
General, I put it at like an 8 out of 10. Great movie. What did you think of it?
Yeah, obviously it had its issues, but as a movie, I thought it was really great.
Great movie.
I did enjoy it. I think before it came out, it was very much kind of like a joke within the Formula One community.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because it was funny because they filmed scenes of like Brad Pitt in post-race interviews and stuff during actual races.
Actually, that's kind of funny.
So everyone was like, "What?
What's going on?
Why is Brad Pitt here?"
Perfect. All right.
So that was funny. And honestly, the community didn't have very high expectations. Obviously, it's not going to be a super accurate depiction of the sport, because
you only can do so much.
Yeah, and you gotta hype up the drama
For the plot.
Yeah, exactly. Do it for the plot. But yeah, no, I thought there was lots of fun Easter eggs for like Formula One fans in there. And Lewis Hamilton was a producer.
I did see that. I saw that in the
movie.
post credits, and there was the one thing I noticed. I was like, I saw Lewis Hamilton, and he did something with it.
Yeah. So me and my family were all giggling.
Wait, hold on. Before we keep going, I did actually notice, and I've seen this in Reddit community post, but in one of the crowd scenes at Silverton in Britain. Silverstone. There's actually a famous YouTuber that appears in like 1 second. You can see him in there.
Really?
And then it disappears. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's a British YouTuber.
Okay.
Simon Miniminter.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yep, and he is in there for like 0.5 of a second.
Didn't he just have a kid? Or was
he
that
did just have a child.
Yeah. I saw that.
Neither here nor there. However, keep going on this Formula One.
Yeah. Where was I at?
You were giggling about something.
Oh yeah, we were all giggling because at the end, Lewis Hamilton is like fighting at the end of the race, and we were like, oh, he put himself in first.
That's funny.
And they also included probably one of the most iconic lines ever said over like commentary for the sport, which was "Through goes Lewis Hamilton." Like, yeah, like it happened during a race.
Just little things that.
Yeah.
Only F1 fans would know.
Yeah, like lots of little Easter eggs and fun things. And everyone was laughing about how much the rest of the grid looked like they didn't want to be in all these scenes. 'Cause like, there's one podium scene where Leclerc was on like second, like for the movie.
Yeah.
But he literally just lost that race.
Oh.
So poor guy had to go back and film it, and you can just see it in his eyes.
That he just doesn't want to be there. See, this is something that I didn't know that like the actual racers were in the movie. I knew that I saw Lewis in there, and I saw Max. I think I saw Max. Was Max Verstappen in there?
Yeah, pretty much every single driver had at one point or another a cameo.
Interesting. Okay, those were the only two that I saw and that I knew, but more drivers were in it.
Yeah, 100%.
See, this is the interesting things that you get when you bring in other people that actually know what's going on.
Leclerc, Piastri, Norris, all of those people.
All in it. Okay.
Piastri and Norris are the drivers for McLaren. So.
General thoughts on the movie? It was good.
Yeah.
You like the Easter eggs?
Yeah.
How does it compare to actual Formula One then?
So there are definitely some issues. One, penalties. Was there ever a penalty in the movie? I can't remember. I don't think so.
I don't think. I think maybe they brought it up once when Pitt was doing his keep the whole pack like behind him at that one race with the big curve.
Yeah.
I think that was the only time they brought up penalties. But
yeah.
Otherwise.
So, yeah. Penalties. He would have received so many. I saw someone on the internet somewhere made a comment that was like, the FIA would have assassinated Brad Pitt before he got 2 races in.
That's funny. So,
the FIA is the governing body of Formula racing.
Yeah, I guessed it.
Yeah, I figure it's probably pretty obvious, but I'll say it anyway.
Yeah.
And then all of the crashes are super crazy. Like, when crashes happen, they don't usually happen like that.
They don't.
No. There are lots of things to prevent them from happening like that. Like, you see them maybe once every 1 or 2 seasons. Like,
once every 1 or 2 seasons, they've got to crash.
Well, we have crashes, but they're not crashes like that. Like, cars are not flipping left and right.
Cars are not flipping left and right. Okay.
Like,
what about when they were doing like the tire thing, when you'd have the person come up and like hit the tire and so they'd spin off? Does that happen pretty often though?
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But like the one where they injured the guy, where the guy got seriously injured, that wasn't accurate.
Those don't happen very often. And I swear there was like 2 of those like flipping crashes in
there
that
was
movie.
because
and I was like, that doesn't happen.
3 actually, because there was Brad Pitt's original one, the one that happened to the kid at the wet course, and then the one that happened to Brad Pitt when he was driving angry.
Yeah, so generally those don't happen. The last one I can think of would be Zhou Guanyu 2021 Silverstone.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, he flipped and hit the barrier real hard. He was entirely fine though. Shout out Halo. The halo is the front piece of the car that kind of goes over their head. So like. Yep.
I didn't know that piece. Yeah.
I wish I have a bunch of Formula 1 little cars. I should have brought them.
Oh.
But that would have been helpful. But yeah, so lots of times contact is made and people will spin off the track, but usually they don't hit the wall all of the time. Sometimes they just end up in the grass or the gravel and they can't keep going, or sometimes they can. As soon as a marshal, which is one of the people sitting on the side, like helping out, touches the car, you can't go back to racing.
Interesting, okay. So hypothetically, they could have had like there was that one. It was the first race where I can't remember his name, but the black driver was back.
Damson Idris.
Damson Idris was back racing, and he spun Brad Pitt out. Brad Pitt could have driven back into the race hypothetically if the marshals didn't touch him.
Yes, if he can keep going.
If you can keep going.
If he could keep going, and there wasn't a ton of damage, like if you have a ton of damage on your car and you're dropping debris, you can't go back on the race.
Okay. With that said crash, could he have gone back in?
I don't exactly remember the details, so
okay.
I can't say.
Okay. So, what would have been some of the things that would have gotten him kicked out? Because there were a lot of interesting...
The whole Plan C.
Plan C.
The entirety of Plan C.
Anything that could have...
Anything that he did with Plan C would have been penalties, disqualifications, all of that. Any intentional contact is
gone.
Even unintentional contact is not gone. It's definitely penalties.
Definitely a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
But he did not seem like penalties were assessed that much.
Yeah, no, they weren't really doing penalties at all.
Would you say that as a general, like, how they portrayed the team in the movie? Was that done pretty well?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of showing the inner workings of the team and like how they create their bond. There's lots of those like sitting at a table talking with the little headphones on before a race or after a race, just team meetings. Those, yeah, very real. I thought they did pit stops pretty well. Yeah, no, I think
generally they did. What about the planning? What you saw of the plans? Do you think they were pretty realistic plans? Like what they did with like the tire things, was that pretty realistic? Like when they were doing the planning session, when they were at the table with the headphones on, was it pretty realistic what they were doing with like the hard tires and the soft tires? That was pretty realistic?
I would say that's pretty generally realistic, yeah.
Pretty generally realistic.
Talking about different plans for, do you want to start on a soft tire and then go to a hard tire? Do you want to do a one-stop? Do you want to do a two-stop? Is all stuff that is discussed before and also during the race over radio.
Interesting. So what do you think the most unrealistic thing was about the movie?
The fact that Brad Pitt was allowed to keep racing.
The fact that Brad Pitt was allowed to keep racing.
The lack of penalties.
The lack of penalties was. Do you think overall though, as a movie, it was like 80% realistic? Would you say?
I would say 75.
75%, and then 25% was what Plan C was.
Yeah, Plan C, and I didn't love the whole relationship between Brad Pitt and the technical director.
It was a bit weird.
Didn't think that was necessary. It's not super great for women in the sport because let's get into this here. So women in Formula One has always been, it's a man's sport, as a general public opinion. So it's been very hard for women to get into the sport, whether it just be as a fan or even like in actual positions in the sport. So it was a little bit frustrating for female fans to see that the character falls in love with a driver. And then you have the one female pit stop worker, I forget the actual technical name, is the one that messes up.
The one that messes up.
Which wasn't wonderful, especially since this is the first season where we have a female race engineer for a driver. It's the first season in Formula One ever. I have her name here. It's Laura, and then it's a German name. Laura Mueller. She is Esteban Ocon's race engineer. And so just seeing that, knowing that lots of people have made jokes or comments about like, she's gonna fall in love with us.
It definitely hasn't been great for the publicity of females in the sport.
It's not wonderful, but honestly it wasn't as huge of a problem as a lot of us felt like it might be before the movie actually came out.
Interesting. That was actually something that I thought they did a pretty good job on, is keeping like, as a general rule, I do not like DEI in like movies, like, you know, constantly having like weird people coming in and doing this. I thought they kept it really well.
Did you say DEI in movies?
DEI, you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, I know what DEI is.
Yeah, and I thought they did a pretty good job with how they kept the like they put them in, but they didn't like overly show it up. And I thought they did a pretty good job with it. But it's interesting that you notice that, like, how that kind of affected some of the stuff. That is definitely very interesting.
Yeah, so I definitely think, I think it would have been better if there wasn't a romantic subplot.
No romantic subplot.
I didn't think that was good for
publicity.
And women in the sport in general.
Interesting.
But, you know,
sadly, I think that may have been one of the things that they had to do for the plot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They had to add it in.
I wouldn't say the movie passes the Bechdel test, but also that's not a super great test in the first place.
What test?
The Bechdel test. So it's it's a test to see if a movie is I guess it's kind of just to see if a movie is quote unquote sexist, but it's not. Sexist is not the right word. But essentially, there are two parts of the Bechdel test. Are there more than two named female characters?
Okay.
And do they ever speak to each other about anything other than a man?
Well, they don't really ever speak to each other in general.
Yeah.
And there's only two.
Yeah. So that's kind of it. But also, I don't love the Bechdel test as like an end-all, be-all of
test thing.
Because also, of course, when they speak, they're going to be speaking about the man because they work for the man.
Yeah.
Or they don't work weird. For them. Yeah, anyway. But, yeah, no, I think they did I also don't like in movies when they bring in a character that's in some way diverse and they're like, look, diversity, look. It's like, okay.
I was kind of nice that, though, they gave her the backstory and gave her the credentials to do it and then explained why Ruben did it. And you also can kind of understand why she would be on that team in the first place, because he was maybe not like struggling to find like the best ones. He was like, she is good. She is an aerodynamics engineer and she knows what she's doing and she's ambitious and she'd be the one to do it.
Yeah, no, I think they did a good job of not making it like, look, we have a woman. Look, we're so good. We're so great, guys.
But still showing her up and putting her up.
But not like just pretending that she's nothing and unimportant.
Yeah, I would say that was probably my take on it. What about the whole owner tries to sabotage the company, Brad Pitt at the end of the racing?
Yeah, so that wouldn't happen.
It just wouldn't happen at all.
Yeah, no, not really.
Were you surprised by it? Like when it came up to you, were you surprised by it?
I think I was predicting it a little bit. As soon as they like introduced the owner and introduced like the ending of the movie, I think I figured it out. Like before the actual reveal, but
Okay, you had a general idea. You had like a thing like he could be doing something.
I was like, oh, he's bad. I don't like him.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I think generally it was. I thought it was an interesting way to end the movie, and I thought it was pretty good.
What do you think about Ruben? I quite liked Ruben. This is something that I said in my review, is that Ruben was probably one of my favorite characters because he was funny, he was smart, and he was like kind of all-knowing, but also not all-knowing at the same time.
Remind me who Ruben was.
He's the owner.
He's the owner? Okay.
He's the one that gets Brad Pitt into it.
Yes, okay, yeah. I thought he was fun. I liked him. I think, yeah, no, I thought he did his job pretty well. I think there were times where he played a little bit more of a team principal role, but that's not super uncommon with owners because Zach Brown also does the same thing. Zach Brown is the CEO of McLaren.
Interesting. Okay, and he will occasionally be on like the.
Oh, he's on the pit wall. He's on the pit wall.
He's the down.
And pretty much every time. And he's not the team principal. We have a team principal in Andrea Stella.
But he's still down there.
Yeah, he's still kind of doing the bit.
What about the pit chief? He during the movie, it always seemed like he was kind of made out a bit clownish.
Pit chief. I had watched it in June. I'm so sorry.
The old guy with the beard.
The old guy with the beard.
The one that was running everything. Do you remember him potentially? Like in the opening scene, his wife comes in with his 2 kids and they're playing on the F1 car.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who we're talking about?
Yeah. I thought that it was fine. He was kind of annoying.
He was just kind of there for you though.
Yeah.
Nothing big.
He was just there.
Interesting. Okay.
He didn't seem super important to me.
Any other point outs from the movie?
One thing that is a little bothersome about the movie and its effect on the sport in general is, so you know how they do the little runs during the movie?
Yeah.
And they call it like the Sunny Hayes effect or whatever.
Yeah.
So every year at Spa, which is the race that just happened, there is a run that happens around the track, and a video of it was posted, and there were lots of comments calling it the Sunny Hayes effect, which was bad because it is in memory of a driver who passed away on the track.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, Antoine Hubert.
Do you think that they did that intentionally, or is like they were like kind of trying to honor him as well? Do you think it was just a thing that they did?
The running? So they do the run every year.
I'm talking about in the movie. I'm talking about in the movie. Do you think they tried to make that intentional?
No. I think it was just something that they did.
And it has come up sideways for them, essentially.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's not really the fault of the movie. That's the fault of the people who only watch the movie and don't understand the sport.
I see. So people like me.
Yeah.
Who knows causing so many problems.
No, you're fine.
Any other last bits, pointers? I realized I just said that and then asked a question soon after.
No, you're okay. No, I think that little run was the only thing I wanted to bring up other than stuff that we've covered.
One other thing, I do occasionally look on Reddit for video ideas, or I'll watch people talking about Reddit. I saw something about like 2 British YouTubers coming down at the silver track in Britain. Did you ever hear about that? Like 2 YouTubers came down and were like sitting on the car or something. That is the only thing I heard about it.
Sitting on the car?
There was something going on with it, and it was weird. But it seems like you did not hear about it.
No, I did not.
Interesting.
Sitting on the car is crazy.
Let me pull it up. It was weird. Like I was looking at it, I was like, something went wrong there. But I figured you would be the person to know about it. Yeah. Angry Ginge, a popular sports influencer, was arrested at the British Grand Prix for allegedly causing damage to an F1 car.
Oh my gosh, that's Lando Norris's friend.
Oh, okay. So you do know about it.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Interesting. I wondered if you knew that. I didn't really look into it because.
Yeah, I didn't look into it much either. I just heard about it and I was like, oh yeah, he's been in some of Lando Norris's videos. So I assume he had a paddock pass and that he was down there just hanging out and probably did something on accident.
There was some story behind it, but yeah, I don't know.
I can't imagine he was down there intentionally
trying to break stuff.
Yeah,
probably not. But
stepping on things because those are expensive things to break.
Yes, I think what they said it was like a display, like it was a classic car.
Okay. Oh no.
Still, something seems wrong with it. But I figured I would ask you that in case you had seen that. But so thank you for coming down here today.
Yeah.
So give Lydia a shout out in the comments. She did a great job answering all the questions. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell us your thoughts on the movie, your thoughts on F1, on her bias towards McLaren. She even showed up to the recording day wearing a McLaren shirt.
Yeah, I've got my. Hold on. I also have my.
More McLaren.
Well, it's
We may have to examine this video for bias.
yeah, it's my. That's Oscar Piastri's helmet.
There you go. She is incredibly biased. And then she actually gets to make the thumbnail for the video too if she wants
Oh,
to.
wonderful! Yeah.
If she wants to, she
Yeah, I
can
can
do
do that.
And so, yeah. Again, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Shout out Lydia. She came down here on shortest notice. I flipped the times on her pretty quickly, but
Yeah, it's like an hour earlier.
Yep.
It wasn't that big.
thank you all for watching.
Yeah.